Hello, everyone.
My apologies. I was moving my screen around and then I went to hit the admit Fran Merrigan and the whole meeting shut down because it was right above the.
Because you hovered just a second too long. It's okay, Becky. I think that's the first time it's happened. We're all allowed one of those. At first, I thought it was me.
Oh, and Linda got right back on. Good. Linda's computer is working well today.
So I'm totally fine, Becky, if you wanted to write something and run it by Rita and I am happy to do that.
Okay, and I'll try to get it to you first thing in the morning so you have a little time.
No problem.
At least by noon.
That's okay. It should be fine. Yeah, I think the cost thing is really the only thing, and then adding in the two items we talked about, the roads and Lake Wyola.
But you're suggesting, just to be clear, are you suggesting that we add in, we're adding it in, so we're doing all the consultants and weaving it together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And taking out the culvert that you said we did.
Right. We don't need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, you'll see, I'll send you the Word document because I put the expression of interest in a Word doc so I could look at it and fill it out like as a test. So I can send it to you because there's like one of the keywords, I think you get to pick 3, and it's not rocket science. It's just the categorization is already there. So you can just figure out which are the right ones to put in. But that it should be easy. I'll just send you that document tonight.
Okay. So is that the inland flooding and the stormwater management?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, let's see. The MVP, they asked for the climate impact category, which is the inland flooding, et cetera. But they also asked for MVP keyword, which
Okay.
is why I put that column in. And so, I think we have like 5, and if they're asking for 3, we can just figure out which 3. I don't think it's going to like make the world turn upside down if we don't capture all of them.
Yeah, and they're probably grabbing climate education or something in there too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rita.
Michael, I just had a question. You had sent the separate thing. I think was it on green infrastructure?
Yeah.
So is that something that needs to be, in your opinion, included in this expression of interest?
No, it was more educational because what I discovered is it's a term of art. Like it is a thing. And I know when we were talking about it and the planning board with Penny regarding the open space, I think people were just thinking about green infrastructure in terms of like, things that are green and feel good, but there's actually sort of an approach. And that's what they're looking to. So I just wanted to share that since I Googled it, I shared it.
Oh, okay, good. All right, thank you. I wanted to make sure I understood. All right, so I think what I'd like to do then is to entertain a motion to authorize the submittal of the expression of interest for the MVP FY23 action grant, and that it will be finalized by the chair and consultation with Michael and Becky.
I so moved.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Eric has left the meeting.
I have no.
He just texted me and said, "What happened?"
I was just making sure he got to his dinner on time.
Okay, any further questions?
Yep.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Carol, aye. So thank you. So Becky, we'll just thank you, Michael, for all your work.
Thank you,
My
Michael.
pleasure.
Yeah. And Becky, you'll get something drafted then to us, and we'll just get comments back to you tomorrow, so it can be submitted on Friday.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. I'm just going to do a quick time check here.
Have a good night, you guys.
Thanks.
Michael.
Good night. So I know we have that there are folks here who probably want to talk about the letter to the USDA, but we have that scheduled for 6:35. So does we have to do minutes first.
Minutes, we can do minutes.
And then maybe if we still have time, we'll just do town hall closure. And then at 6:35, other people are coming to hear about the lake. So do I hear a motion to approve the select board minutes of January 4th?
I'll make the
Linda.
Linda.
Yes.
Hi,
Hi.
you actually don't have them because I was ill most of last week. So I would ask if you could carry them over
Okay.
to the first meeting in February.
Okay. I will not be at that meeting,
Carry 'em
but
over.
I think we can do that. All right.
Thank
So why don't we just take a few minutes and talk about the town hall closure and COVID updates, Becky?
Okay.
That okay, Melissa?
Well, town hall being closed is going pretty well, and I've been relieved that it is closed. COVID is touching base with at least another employee, so it's good that we are closed. I think people are getting, they're coming to the door for trash bags, they're coming to the door to get their dog's license and notary and property tax questions from the collectors. So I think I have not received any public complaints. So I believe we are making sure that the public is being served, which is a top priority. And at this point, I understand our numbers are declining a little bit in Shutesbury, but I think I would ask for another 2-week stretch and revisit it again at our next select board meeting. If the select board would be okay with that, I think it would be a sensible thing for us to do.
Do we have numbers from Board of Health? I didn't look.
No, I didn't see
anything.
them.
I didn't see anything in the town announce.
All I saw was their letting us know about the tests being available.
Right.
I do know it was mentioned they're going down slightly,
Okay.
but I didn't see the written report. I heard it from the Board of Health.
Okay, and I see Kristen's hand raised.
Hi, good evening. Glad we're bringing this topic up. So I am going to be sending out a town announce email to let people know overall how they can contact us for various different things, particularly LTCs. That is something that on occasion needs to be done in person. So there may be an occasion, as long as everyone is in agreement, that I meet them around back and we meet in that one room and sanitize completely after. There are times where I have to meet people in person. And you know, they don't necessarily want me to come to their home or something like that. So.
And
I
that's
think that works out fine. I don't have a problem with
And Melissa, you're comfortable with another 2 weeks?
that. Yeah,
having
I
the
think,
closure?
you know, I think we've had a wave of whatever this is, and it'll continue at least till it burns itself out a little bit more. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
So do I hear a motion to extend the closing to the public of the town hall for an additional 2 weeks?
I will make a motion that we close the town hall to the public for an additional 2.
And I will second. And all those, and any further discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Farrell, aye. Okay, so let's just do the status of the real estate appraisal report. And then Melissa, you're on.
Thank you. I didn't realize this was going to be on the agenda, but so I ended up, my first appraiser, I think I had mentioned this before, I can't remember. I had some difficulty with, and he fell ill and I had been passed on to another person, which didn't work out. So everything's back on. I had some convincing of others that aren't in the public eye to allow access to one of the properties. So that complicated it a little bit. Can't really go into much more detail than that in a public session. And so we're back on track. Had I known this was going to be on, I would have called Michael Case today and asked him for an update for more of a timeline, but I didn't realize. So he didn't get back to my email or my voicemail. I'm sorry. So I will have a better update the next one, or I can let Becky know and she can pass it on.
Okay. Thank
Becky, can you
Melissa.
remind us for anybody watching this?
Oh yeah.
Goes back what we're talking about, because it's because of Melissa's potential conflict of interest, because she's in a butter to.
I'm
at
in a
least
butter
one of
with
the-
3 properties to 2 solar farms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Anything else that we need to make
No,
clear
I'll have
about
a
that?
better update if you want to do it the next one, or like I said, I give the information to Becky and she can pass it on if you want it. more
Yeah.
than-
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. Okay, thank
Sorry
you.
about that. The original one was hopeful, but
Yeah,
we're
Okay.
back on track. So
complicated stuff. Thank
it's
you, Melissa.
yeah, and unfortunately,
Um,
property would be easier than 3.
so I know we have some folks from Lake Wyola here. Maybe if one of them, Fran or Mark, if you can, I'm not sure if you're expecting other people, and you feel comfortable with us going ahead with this agenda item, or do you want to wait till 6:35, which was the designated time on the agenda? We're okay with doing it now, but I don't want to preclude discussion. It's not a hearing per se, but if you want to let
Fran's
me know.
ready to talk. He
Okay.
unmuted.
Are you there, Fran? Maybe not. Okay.
That didn't-
Melissa, what do you think?
See if they could hear you now. I just unmuted it.
Oh, but you can hear him now.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, we
okay,
can.
good. Hey, there you go. Got the echo. What time is it now? 6:30? I don't really
It's-
know if we're gonna get any, but. can
Okay.
My wife's got hers connected. I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, there's a lot of feedback when you have two.
Mute one. Mute the speaker on
just
one.
Yeah,
and
just
listen
use this.
on the one. Yeah,
Okay, she's
Yeah.
turning hers down. Good.
Yeah. down or off. Yep.
I'm not getting an echo again. There we go. I'm not really sure how many people are gonna attend.
Okay, well, why don't we get started? I mean, it's 6:30 now, and we said 6:35, so we'll have an opportunity to catch up. So I'm not sure, Becky, maybe I turn this over to you just to do sort of the intro to how we got here. And then I'd like to hear a little bit from Kristen, who I know has taken the lead in talking with folks at the USDA. So, but Becky, if you can kind of just give an overview. And we did discuss this at the last select board meeting. So I think the select board's aware, but just for anybody from the public who might be hearing this for the first time.
Last May or June, there was the town hall and police department started getting numerous phone calls reporting there had been the shooting of geese. One early morning at between 6 and 7 in the morning. And there was quite a number of people that were upset by this and continued to call us and asking for information from the select board. We did not have any information to share. The only thing we were aware of is that the Lake Wyola Association had a permit to addle eggs. And that is the extent of the knowledge that we had. And then I learned from the police department that morning at about 6 a.m., a message had been left by, I guess, a USDA representative that they would be at Lake Wyola that morning getting rid of geese. Again, it was kind of a puzzle and a mystery to town officials. I did ask Kristen to take the lead to try to figure out what was going on. I spoke to a few people myself. I spoke to the gentleman from USDA who was here. He said he was authorized through a permit, and I asked who the permit had been taken out by, and he could not tell me. So I will turn it over to Kristen at this point to fill in what happened next. To the degree that we know. Kristen?
Okay, so this was actually has been quite a sort of collective of information over a lengthy period of time. It was quite confusing in the very beginning. Yes, we did get a message left on the voicemail at around 6 a.m. the morning that they had planned on being out there. We understand these things happen. So I had reached out to the parties that I had information contact information to. And my first sort of communication with them was, we need a little bit more time to get some information out to the public, and or also for us to be aware and possibly be present, because we know that sometimes these things can bring a lot of questions to the public. And everyone knows my stance. I appreciate transparency and I give transparency. And so I appealed to them in that fashion, to which the party that was out here representing the USDA in the population control stated that, I might want to talk to his supervisor. So I reached out to, actually, I knew that Fran Merrigan was involved, and I reached out to Fran, and we kind of spoke quickly in regards to it, and trying to get some information. I then reached out to, I believe my first communication was July 27th. And that was to the supervisor at the USDA, local USDA in Amherst, and that's Don Wilda, to get some information and possibly in the future have more open communication in regards to what's going on. Then, with more discussion and information that was brought forward, we found that the representative of the USDA was out on the lake, actually on the lake, and he was performing population control by shooting geese. I asked the supervisor of the USDA to send me his permit, which I have sent to Becky, the permit that they get issued by the government to perform this, and he did. And so then it became a question of who approved the population control by way of the lake, and because population control and people hiring the USDA to come in and contract with the USDA to come in to do population control can only be done by two different ways. And that is where a resident of Shutesbury can say, you're allowed to come onto my property, and you can come onto my property and take care of this issue for me. But they can't just go out onto the lake itself, because the lake, the waterway belongs to the town, and they can't go from the beach. And they did tell me that the USDA did tell me that they had gone onto the beach and things like that. So it became quite confusing. I have gathered all of the information, and where we stand right now is that after lengthy conversations with Don Wilda from the USDA, he and the USDA were under the assumption that they were dealing with the Lake Association. Now, that is what he explained to me, he thought he was dealing with the town itself, with the Lake Association, and people were representing the Lake Association. And when I explained to him, no, I was specifically told by the Lake Association that they were not approving of this because they can't approve of that. Then I started getting a little bit more involved in that sort of segue of what was happening. When I explained to Don Wilda from the USDA that the concerns that were coming forward by way of residents calling the police department and calling the town, and people were calling, Becky has witnessed this, they were calling and calling for days. It was over concern of the eagles and the eagles' nests and the family of eagles that we have, and they are protected. And they were concerned mostly that they didn't get a heads up information that was going to be happening. So at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, they're hearing gunshots happening on the lake. So once I explained to Mr. Wilda from the USDA that the Lake Association was not the party that hired him, but individual representatives, residents of town collectively got together to hire him, he was confused because he had a misunderstanding. When I further explained to him that we have eagles and eagles' nests, and that the preferred population control is not by loud noise, by disturbance, which actually goes against the USDA's permit. They're not allowed to disturb, and Becky has that information, they're not allowed to disturb eagles' nests. He then said he had no idea, he did not realize that, and obviously if they continued, they would need to do it in a different fashion, and there are other ways of doing that. So, however, he did state to me when I was speaking to him that he did not feel that he was a little trepidatious in approving the population control, because he didn't feel that there were enough geese to have a need for it, but they went ahead, that it was sort of like on the line. I've recently spoken to him again, because again, this for me, for our department, is about open communication with the residents of Shutesbury so that they have an understanding of what's happening around them. So when I spoke to him again, because I had sent a FOIA request out and I received that back, Mr. Wilda was following up to make sure that I had gotten the request back, because there was a lot of delay in that. So he was following through to make sure that that happened. He then explained to me that he did not feel that there would be a need to come out to Shutesbury for population control this year. However, he explained to me that Fran Merrigan had been calling him up to renew the contract. And I said, I know that the town is going to want to talk to you about expectations in regards to the loud noises and disturbance that it could cause the eagles, and a little bit more notice for the residents. So that's where we are for that. And it did take quite a lengthy amount of time to get the FOIA request back. I was told that there was some miscommunication, that the request went to wrong places and diverted into different traffic, and finally made its way where it was supposed to. And then we had that back, and that's what has taken so long. I think I covered everything, Becky.
I think you really did.
Okay.
In detail. So that leaves us at the point we're at. I put together a letter to Don Wilda, who I have not yet met. I would like to meet with him, and along with a select board member and Kristen, just to talk about how we move forward, that we do not expect that we would like the town to be informed at all times about these issues and be the decision maker on them, not people that are not really answerable, not people who do not have to answer to the residents of the town. So that's why I'm bringing the letter forward to the select board, asking for approval to move ahead and have a conversation prior to the spring to figure out how to move forward and always be sure that the town is notified of anything that occurs with shooting of wildlife on our lake or in our town.
So I have just first a point of clarification, Kristen. So did you say that Mr. Wilda, I guess it was, that he believed he was dealing with the Lake Wyola Association with this application and that they were somehow a municipal entity?
Yes, there was a lot of miscommunication with that, and he was under the assumption that he was dealing with the Lake Association itself and not just lake residents. And he believed that the Lake Association would then be representing the town. That was his understanding. That was the understanding of the party that came out to process the population control as well. So there was a lot of miscommunication, which is why it took so long to get all of the information.
Okay, I want to give select board members a chance first, and then I'll take other questions or comments. So Melissa, do you have any?
I don't have any
questions?
No, no.
All right, I see a hand up. Actually, two hands. We'll take Fran Merrigan first and then Miriam. Fran, you have the floor. Okay, not sure. Oh, now he's muted. All right, Miriam.
Oh, he's unmuted again.
Fran, are you there?
Did you happen to mute your speaker and microphone?
And that's
I don't see anything registering on the
okay.
microphone.
Let me take Miriam and then we'll go back and see Fran. Miriam.
Thanks. Well, I was just following up on Becky's letter. When we talked about this at the last select board meeting, I had made a request that the Conservation Commission be included in that meeting. And I'm hoping that the letter could include, the meeting could include a representative from the Conservation Commission.
Okay. I recall that we did discuss that.
Thanks.
I do have one slight edit to the letter, but it can wait until we get to that point.
Yeah, I wanted to do some editing too, Melissa, and especially after like hearing what Kristen had to say tonight. I think I put like a little bit more in there. So maybe what we do is just authorize a letter rather than editing some kind of letter here.
No, that's fine. My suggestion
good?
was just maybe instead of killing, using dispatching, because there's so many other methods too. It would cover more.
Uh-huh. You mean
dispatching the animals?
Dispatch. Is that a nicer way of saying killing?
But it also includes, shooting, but it includes other methods as well. So
okay,
I think a little more broad.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you particular, just as it's more of a preference, but that was my suggestion.
Okay, thank you. So Fran, are you there? And have a comment? I'm not sure. Does anybody know how to get in touch with him? Is there a way to text him or email him? Because we're not. He has his hand up, but he's not hearing us. Kristen?
It should be noted that in all my discussions with Fran and with the USDA, we all, the police department as a whole with everyone understands that sometimes, these things happen. That's why the permits are out there. But the most important thing is the communication. And I did discuss that with all of the parties that moving forward, there needs to be much more communication involved in this. And to speak to Melissa's point, I think that's a really good point. We don't want to be you don't want to be too specific. And when I spoke to Mr. Wilda from the USDA, it was the common term was population control. So it could be that wording could be utilized in some way as well. So I just wanted to state that.
Okay, good, thank you. So any way of reaching Fran?
He did call the other day, so I'm trying to find his number, but the first
Okay.
one I tried, it didn't work. So I'm trying, I'm still searching.
Mark Rivers here from the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee.
Hi, Mark.
Hi. Would it be possible to include membership from the advisory committee in that meeting also?
Yeah, I guess so. It's not a municipal entity. This is sort of a town
No,
issue.
he's talking about LWAC.
Oh, LWAC. Oh, okay. So, which is a
It's not-
municipal. Yeah. So yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Just again, and so they're able to facilitate communication and to understand what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the point of the meeting is to just understand going forward rather than rehashing. I think everybody understands what went wrong here, but what our expectations are. And I guess that's the nature of the letter, that we want to have a meeting to sort of set the record clear about what the town's expectations are and who's in charge, who's on first. Does that make sense, Kristen? Is that your sense of what the?
Absolutely. I think the most important part is to have open communication. You know, a lot of the residents around the lake made some really good points. They understand that population control is sometimes an issue and needs to happen. But when you're laying in bed and you're asleep and you get woken up by gunshots that echo in such a way around the lake, it can be quite scary for people. And I think that was the consensus of quite a number of people, that they really just want more transparency. They're looking for more open communication. And also, yes, we do have an obligation to protect protected wildlife. And because that is a concern, that is something that we need to communicate about that as well. So I say, moving forward, and Don Wilda, by the way, from the USDA, is very happy to assist in any way he possibly can. They are being very open and transparent in any way that I ask them to be for communication. They're happy to, when the time comes, if they ever need to come back and do any more population control, if that is deemed necessary. And they have a calculation that brings them to whether or not we need that to happen. There's a number that they need. But if they ever need to do that again, they're happy to come and sit and meet with the town and answer any questions by way of transparency. So.
Okay, thank you. So any other comments, questions? Do we need a vote or some? Fran, I'll try you again. Are you there? This is really frustrating.
He has logged in and out about 7 times.
Oh, I wonder if they're having.
Trying to get a good connection.
Oh.
But throughout the meeting, he's been in and out and in and out.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's failing, but he got his hand up.
Yeah.
It might be the microphone on the computer or whatever device he's using.
Yep.
Maybe we could suggest that he can call in if he has the ability.
Yeah, we just have to reach him though. That's the
If you can hear us, Fran, attempt the call-in function.
I think I hear his phone.
Do you? Is he trying to call you?
No, I'm just trying to search again. It should be, I think he used a cell phone. That's why I can't find the 367 number. Um,
No luck.
No,
Well, I think we're gonna send the letter. We're gonna ask for the meeting regardless, right? And so what I want to do is if Fran has some comments, he could forward them to you, Becky.
I might, no, this isn't.
Now he's gone again. Yeah. I don't think it's going to change anything about us asking for the meeting. And that's
Right.
what we wanted to accomplish this evening. So we would invite Lake Wyola Advisory Committee
Hi,
representative.
Is this Fran Merrigan's number? Yes. Who is it?
I just wanted to say, Rita, that Don is willing to meet at any time, but he also doesn't have any expectations of coming out this year to
Okay.
to perform. But he does want to have communication with us this year in regards to what the town is looking for.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. So there's no real rush.
I don't think there's any real rush. The way that he
Okay.
expressed to me is he does not believe it is a necessary agenda for them because it
They're
doesn't
not planning on
meet
coming this year.
the number criteria.
Okay.
And I know that he said that he was reached out to fulfill the contract, but they don't have any intention this year, but they do want to meet
Okay.
with us.
Okay.
And the contract expires February 28th, 2022.
Okay.
The current-
Why don't we do this? Why don't we, since we have a little bit more time, do we want to just do a redraft of the letter, get in touch with Fran and just take it up at the next meeting and finalize it? You okay with that, Becky?
Sure.
Okay. So I will send you my edits and based on the conversation tonight, and then maybe we can, make sure Fran gets a way of connecting with us.
We spoke to him earlier tonight
Yeah,
when we first
yeah,
logged in, so I'm
yeah,
not
no,
sure.
I
what
know.
happened.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And so that'll be on February 14th. Oh, here he comes one more time. We'll reschedule
Is it
it.
really the 14th? I thought it was February 7th. or-
Our next meeting is the 1st. I know, we were 2 weeks
Okay.
from tonight is the 1st of February.
Okay,
And
So
that's
to
the
do
meeting
it-
we're not going to be here for.
so yeah, I won't be there. I mean, I'm okay if I give you my edits for the letter. I'm okay with you
Okay.
just going
So we
ahead.
can do it on the 1st.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
And you wanted, Fran, can you speak yet?
No. Okay, well, since we're gonna delay this for a couple of weeks anyway, if you could just notify Fran.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Work out.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Kristen. I know this was a big unraveling. This mystery took a lot of time. So
It
we
really was,
appreciate.
but if there's anything else you need, just let me know. Becky, I forwarded Becky all of the contact information.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, great. Melissa, you're good with?
Yes, I'm good. Yep.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, so the next item is the ABCC annual report. And Linda, I believe you are the person for this.
Yes, and
Tell us what we need to do.
yeah, I sent you all sent it out on Friday to you, and it is it's just our, let me just it's your annual report to the ABCC, and it's for calendar year 2021, and it includes the number of licenses and the fees, and whether there were any violations, actions or findings related to violations. So the only license that you have, of course, is the one club license. And for 2021, you had waived the fee because the SAC, was, closed for months, and you decided to waive the fee, and there were no violations in the 2021 calendar year. Therefore, there were no actions or findings. And so this is a report that's submitted every year, and the only difference this year, of course, was the waiving of the fee, and it's usually signed by the chair. So you just vote to approve, and the copy, the original is in a red folder in your box, Rita.
Sounds good. So do I hear a motion to approve the ABCC annual report? You're muted.
I muted myself to cough. So moved.
Okay, and I'll second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Make peace, O'Neill. Aye.
Farrell, aye. Okay, thanks for preparing that, Linda.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, and the last item on the agenda is for town administrator updates.
Okay. So just let me move one thing around. And hopefully I won't close the meeting again. Okay, so I want to start with a spreadsheet that Rita put together in concept, and I just edited, I rearranged things a little bit, but this is a select board planning tool that was in your packet. So I just wanted to go over it and make sure that everyone is comfortable with this, and I'm sure there might be suggestions from all select board members as to moving things around or adding actions or tasks as we proceed in the next 6 months through the end of the year. Things have gotten quite busy. We've got the new energy committee starting, the police study group and the fire chief study committee are both getting close to making recommendations. We have ARPA funding that we really need to dig into. And ongoing ATM planning, annual town meeting planning, the budget. So there's a lot going on. So I think it was a wonderful idea for Rita want to make sure that we don't miss anything and have everything on our list and keep adding and hopefully someday subtracting some items. So it's a living document that we'll continue to check in with and put on the agenda just to, just to note updates to the different items as we move along. So
Becky,
thank
the
you.
one thing I don't see is the dreaded PAFs.
Not yet, not yet.
Okay,
Yep, they'll be coming.
okay.
Good catch, Melissa. I'll get that one on.
Yeah, basically what I was trying to do is just, I was writing a list and saying, okay, what do we have just for the balance of this fiscal year? And then shift it to Becky, who put it in this great format, which I think is really helpful to say, what do we alone have to do? And then, working with others.
Yeah, I saw that column. That actually is helpful.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. And in buried in here is town meeting, which, I was realizing today when I checked in with Becky that, fairly soon we're going to have to make some decisions because it's coming up quicker than you realize when you realize all of the deadlines about mailing absentee ballots and all those other things that come into play. So we have to make in the not too distant future a decision about whether or not we're going to stick with that last Saturday in April or push town meeting out. And there's so many unknowns, but
and I suppose we also have to think about how COVID might be affecting that too again.
Yeah.
Whether it can be held inside or it has to be outdoors.
Right. So I don't know what how we might want to set a time. Maybe it's that mid-February select board meeting where we make a decision about town meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, because everybody's gonna have a solid target, So yeah, I
Right.
agree.
Okay.
So
And then we might also talk about whether it's inside or outside too.
Right.
Yeah,
so I think we'll, as Becky said, we'll add and subtract things as time goes on, but it's just kind of gives us a little bit of a outline of what we're going to try to get, what we need to get done over the next few months. So this doesn't need a vote or anything, Becky, you were just.
Right, I was just sharing.
Yep, great, thank you.
Okay, the next thing I have on my list is the Army Corps of Engineers. I had a meeting with DEP, our licensed site professional, Mark O'Malley from OTO, and the Army Corps of Engineers to discuss the Lot 032 finding that OTO came across when they did some site tests back in the fall. In the middle of the Lot 032 parcel, about more than 500 feet back, is what is called a TVOR tower that was a Westfield remote installation during 1955 to 1965. That installation was removed in 1994, and that's what's at debate. We viewed photos of the removal and the holes that were dug. 100 yards of soil plus another 11 yards of soil were removed. But in the end, when our LSP was out there in 2021, they found a hot spot right where the tower was located. So at this point, DEP does believe we need to file. Army Corps of Engineers made an argument that there was not a need for filing. So I am working on the filing, which will be submitted by Friday as well. So that's where we're at. DEP and our licensed site professional think that the responsible party is Army Corps of Engineers, Department of Defense. And we will present that case and go to the next steps. And I will continue to update the select board on what those next steps are as we continue. Any questions on that issue? Nope. Okay, HVAC update. So we've heard a lot of talk about the HVAC at the school. We had gone out to bid and we got a signed bid back to Hessner Engineering. They had scheduled to be in Shutesbury on Monday at 10 a.m. The ice storm prevented them from coming out. They will be here tomorrow. And then on Friday, we'll be holding a kickoff meeting with 3 building experts, well, in town. Well, architect Jeff Quackenbush, Michael Broad and Bob Groves will also be assisting contractors, and Michael is well-versed in state contracts and the procurement laws, which is a very helpful for me in working with engineers. So that's going to happen on Friday and we'll take it from there. We hope to go out to bid with in time for annual town meeting, and I'll keep you updated on that as well. Other than that, we got shoveled out, town hall got shoveled out by an industrious new police officer over the stormy weather, and we're all doing pretty well. Any other questions from the select board for me?
I don't think so.
Yep.
I think we are good. Fran, I see your hand again. I'll take a question.
Can you hear me now?
We can
Oh
hear
my
you.
goodness.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, listen, I missed the whole darn thing. Hear me okay?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're
Okay,
about to
going
wrap
to
up the
loud
meeting. But go ahead.
No, I totally understand. I don't know what to say. I spent all afternoon waiting for this meeting and I couldn't talk, and then I got kicked out over and over and over again. So I have no idea. I don't know where we stand with this letter. I don't know what the content of it was.
Okay. Let me give you the summary. So
Can you hear me okay though?
yes,
Can you hear me okay?
you. Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you. So we have
Danielle.
determined that that the drafting of that, there was a first draft of the letter, but sort of based on information from Kristen Burgess this evening and just some edits that Melissa and I wanted to make, that a letter would be brought forth at the next select board meeting, which is on February 1st. And the gist of the letter will be that that we want to have a meeting with the USDA to ensure that future communication around population control of the geese at Lake Wyola, that there's improved communication with the town of Shutesbury, which did not happen this time. And Kristen's had extensive conversations with the USDA, and I think somebody from the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee will be coming, a representative from the Conservation Commission, a select board member, and our town administrator.
Okay, good. So are we still on? Can I still pursue this, the culling?
I believe what Kristen said was that USDA had no intention of, that they didn't think the population was sufficient for any kind of culling this year, and they did not plan to move ahead with it.
Okay. I just want to make something clear that the association absolutely had nothing to do with this. And that's, I just wanted to let you know that if there was any question. I have, I may be renewing that permit again. They emailed, this is a funny thing. They emailed me a renewal to sign it and send it in. I really don't know what to do at this point. It sounds like you people want to have some kind of a meeting and be assured that whatever happened last year, that got everybody. There were some real mistakes made, and so I guess we'll wait and see. Are you people totally against this, or you just want some transparency on this whole thing? What are you looking for? I mean, somebody say something.
Well, what we're looking for is that that we understand what the process is, and that it's done in full consultation with the town. I mean, they didn't, and that USDA is aware if there are any well, that there were bald eagles down there, and they probably didn't even conform with their own policy and doing in the way that they did the culling
Right.
this year.
Well,
So they didn't even
there's
follow, they didn't follow kind of their own procedures. I think there was a lot of misunderstanding, and at least they, according to Kristen, they've indicated that they were not going to do any population reduction this year regardless.
Okay. You know, I guess that's the way it is. I just want to make another thing clear, that the addling of the egg is, we have a permit to addle the eggs. I pulled that years ago, and it got handed off to, I think, Mark Rivers. And the addling of the eggs has had very little impact on the population of the geese. It's almost non-existent. We had no eggs last year. We couldn't find any nests. They're all coming from Ames Pond, which is the next pond over. I approached the people, Kestrel, to see about getting a permit to addle eggs up there, oil the eggs. They wouldn't hear it. So we're gonna be getting tons of geese from Ames Pond, and we have no control over that. They all come down, they stay up and they hatch, they all come down here. So I don't know. Well, hey, we had a good run. So can I get a copy of that letter?
Yeah, well,
Or
it
is the
will.
letter drafted yet?
It won't be, yeah, it won't be until the next select board meeting on February 1st. And
Okay,
it's-
good. Well, hey, sorry for the
Okay,
confusion.
we made a valiant try to get you in earlier, but
like it's
okay.
trying to make a phone call.
Yeah. Well, thank
Okay,
you.
well,
Thanks.
hey, good luck. Hey, will
Okay.
you, as far as this meeting with the USDA, is this gonna be something that's gonna be published? You know,
No.
are we gonna be?
No,
uh,
it's not going to
won't
be, it's not
won't
going to be,
open to-
it's not a, yeah,
Okay.
we'll only have, yeah, not a quorum of any of the committees.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, well,
Okay,
thank you.
good
Sorry
night.
for the confusion with my mute thing here. See ya. Bye.
okay, bye-bye. All
Gotta
right,
get off this thing, yeah.
anything else, Becky?
We're done.
We're done? Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Sure, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I will second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make peace, O'Neill, aye.
Farrell, aye. Okay, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.